Good morning, everyone. So I just wanted to take a minute to give you a little Tidestone Solutions overview. Tidestone Solutions has been in business for just about 20 years, a little over actually, and we've been a Microsoft Dynamics GP partner since 1995. We really thrive on improving business and financial processes for our customers. And so therefore we do offer specific Tidestone products such as macros, for example, amongst some other really cool tools. And we do this to really help you streamline your business processes and ensure that you're not using lots of Excel spreadsheets like we all love to use. So we also have a lot of knowledge with some of the best ISV products that are out there. There are a ton, and we kind of have zoned in. Professional Advantage Collections Management is actually one of them. And we will work with you to implement these products that will help you become more efficient. Our dedication really lies within our existing customer base. We seek to have a real true partnership with our clients. And because of this and because of our philosophy around that, we have customers really all over the U.S., I'm proud to announce. So, Alicia, can you go to the next slide?
Yes.
Some of our areas, specific areas of expertise are around selecting software, like I was just mentioning with ISV products. Data conversion is another one. We have a pretty good tool for data conversion. Integrating other applications. Integrations is definitely a specialty of ours. Whether they integrate with Dynamics or not, we can pretty much always make it work. Customization and development work. We have a great development team here, and they get really creative and really work with you and to the requirements that you choose. Custom reporting. Alicia's our reporting guru. Software implementation, of course, we do that. Automation of tasks, which is another area. And support and training. We love to train our clients so that they can be as self-sufficient as possible. And sometimes it means refining business processes as well, and training in those areas as well. I do also want to just point out real quick before we start with Melody, that we now offer the Dynamics GP solution in the cloud. And I'm not sure how familiar everyone is with the cloud, but it is kind of everyone's moving to the cloud really nowadays. So we now offer it in the cloud. Dynamics can be accessed through the cloud through Tidestone. And basically it can, eliminate your infrastructure costs. You can get rid of your servers. You can get rid of maintenance to those servers. In some cases, IT headcount, also workstation upgrades, all of that stuff is all covered when you move to the cloud. And you pay by a per user per month charge versus like your annual enhancement. We can roll your annual enhancement into a per user per month. And if you are interested in this at all, please feel free to contact me. You can contact Alicia, or you can contact Morgan, and we can talk more about the cloud with you. We are using Windows Azure, as you can see on the screen, as our hosting provider. So that's the cloud, and I think that's all I have.
Great. All right, thank you, Kelly. At this point, I think what we'll do is we'll hand it over to Melody. And Melody, what I'll do is I'll change the presenter over to you if you're ready. And let me see here. Melody, are you ready for us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me just make you the presenter here.
Perfect.
Okay. I'll put it in your capable hands. Thank you.
All right, sure. Thank you. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to present to your audience this morning. Really appreciate that. So for those who are unfamiliar with our solution collections management, it is an application or an ISV module that sits on top of your Great Plains instance. And it was designed to help reduce your bad debt and improve your cash flow. And much like a lot of what Tidestone does to help clients, the solution also does this by automating a lot of the mundane collection tasks that go along with trying to reduce your bad debt. And we do this by the addition of advanced workflow processes that we've included as of our release last June, and these are called collection plans. And what these plans do is they help ensure consistent follow-up with your customers, your overdue customers, and help target specific groups of overdue debtors. And this is all in an effort to help you collect your money faster. And for those who track your day sales outstanding, collections management really makes it easy to track your DSO after getting started with collections management. It is also a great way to help you realize your return on investment in the solution if you see your DSO trending in a downward motion, hopefully. I do have just a couple of slides to go over today. Like Tidestone, I'd just like to start with a little bit about us here at Professional Advantage. We are a Microsoft Gold Certified Partner and independent software vendor with operations in Australia, Fargo, North Dakota, here in North America, which is where I am, and then also in Europe, primarily in the UK. We've been a Microsoft President's Club member for the last 14 years, and we do develop a number of cross-industry solutions specific for Microsoft Dynamics. Several of them you can see there on your screen. And a number of solutions that we've developed are currently delivered in the core Dynamics GP product line. And that actually has been the case with collections management for the last 12 years. But after a very successful relationship with Microsoft, they did transition the product back to us last June, and we're really excited to have it back. We've been able to put a lot of focus into the development of the solution. Most of what you will see and we talk about today are suggestions from users and partners alike. So again, really excited to have it back. So some of the enhancements that we have made, vast improvements around the emailing capabilities. So now in collections management, you're able to pop up a one-off email template as you're on the phone with customers. Select from any number of message templates or letter IDs, and then attach some or even all of your customers' open invoices to the email and send it directly from collections management. As I mentioned on the previous slide, we've added collection plans to help automate the collection process. There's a number of predefined plans that we deliver out of the box, but you are certainly able to define your own plans based on your specific collection processes. You're able to have any number of different plans for different customer types, like a good customer plan, and then you can have another plan for maybe high-risk customers. And with these plans, you'll get system-generated reminders or actions that are suggested based on the number of days that your customers past due. We will take a look at a plan today, and you'll see how there are different types of actions that you can configure to happen at different points of time. Now, do keep in mind that rather than these actions being fully automated, where they're happening behind the scenes and kind of out of the realm of manual intervention, they're executed in more of a semi-automatic fashion. So you can choose to process these steps one at a time, or you can group similar customers or action types together and then process high volumes of activities in just minutes. If you're a fan of Smart Lists, it now has collection management options, and the first list available is on collection notes. So now you can easily use the Smart List to filter your collection notes on keywords or collector IDs or any number of different metrics without having to click through individual records either within GP or Collections Management main window. Now, we've also added collection notes information to the standard receivables transaction smart list. So you can see if an RM document has a note attached to it, and then the details from that note as well. For those using SQL Server reporting services, we do deliver 2 SSRS report templates with the product, giving you some cash flow forecasts and customer metrics. The reports that we've developed thus far are around collections activity, and then an aging details report with collection notes details included as well. A couple of more points here. The setup has been made extremely easy with the addition of quick start wizards for the collection act, the actions, letters, customer queries, and of course the collection plans themselves. And probably the most popular request that we received after getting collections back was the ability to attach and send Word document invoices and receivable statements from with Collections Management. So now you can do that. That really enables you to cut down on costs that are associated with buying expensive PDF writer licenses for each of your users. And then finally, if you are invoicing outside of GP, Collections Management can now email invoices from any invoicing system, just as long as it can produce a PDF version of the invoice and then match it to a customer in the system. In our most recent release, which launched in March, as a benefit of the maintenance or your annual enhancement plan, Collection Management customers will now have access to Company Data Archive Express. Company Data Archive is another Professional Advantage developed solution that enables you to streamline your database by transferring and removing historical data from your production or your live company into an archive company within GP. And basically what this does is it eliminates a lot of the clutter and the noise that your reports and inquiries and your lookups have to go through in order to produce results for you. And if you've been on GP for any number of years, you've probably noticed over time that those types of activities have really started to slow down. Well, by streamlining your database, it can really increase your performance in GP. And our full version of Company Data Archive allows you to archive from all of the standard GP modules, and the Express version enables you to archive from both GL and PM. We also include a number of database diagnostic and SQL Server maintenance tools in Windows, again, just in an effort to improve your overall performance in GP. So some of the things we'll take a look at today, we'll spend quite a bit of time in our collections main window, which is where a lot of customers spend the majority of their day, because this gives you a fantastic overview of your customer's history, aging details. It's a wonderful place to do any ad hoc or one-off printing or emailing that you may do. Of course, we'll take a look at your task window, which is going to be your to-do list for the day. You'll notice that once you start relying more on the collection plans and allowing emails to go out automatically, a majority of the tasks on your list are going to be things that cannot be automated by the system, like phone calls and follow-ups on promise to pay. The collection notes, which are essentially the hub of collections. You'll see that each of your notes will have an action assigned to it, like a promise to pay, and then also a follow-up date will be attached to the note along with any of the invoices that the note is referring to. And then finally, we'll take a look at the plan processing window, which is going to be your queue, basically. This is where you will see actions that are due for every customer that you have that is on a plan, and where you'll also process those actions. So with that, we are going to jump into GP, and my demo environment is set up in GP 2013, but our latest versions are available for both 2010 and 2013. And hopefully there's not much of a lag, and GP is showing on the screen for you now. I do have a number of shortcuts set up for today's presentation, but you can find your collection functions under your sales card here in the transaction pane, kind of just in logical order, where you're doing all of the other activities that go along with your transactions and invoices. Here at the bottom is where you will do your collecting. And today, though, to keep me on track, we'll stick with the shortcuts. So first, let's see the collections main window. So as I mentioned, this is a great place to get an overview of your customer's account. We'll go over a few of the fields here. Obviously, it's going to give you the name of the customer based on the customer ID that you pull up. If you have multiple locations that you deal with for your customers, you're able to choose which location you're viewing the data on. Your contact person along with your contact details. Also provides you with the date and the amount of the last payment from the customer. You'll see that there's a number of AR populated fields here, like the payment terms, credit limits, even the aging buckets. All of that pulls in directly from AR, so there's no additional setup for collections management needed. So whatever you have set up in your accounts receivable is what will pull through here to collections management. We did try to provide a couple of fields that we thought might be useful from a credit or account management standpoint. Year-to-date sales, if you're not real familiar with this customer and you're trying to determine the size or type of customer that they are, that might be some useful information to help you make that determination. So from an unposted sales and unposted cash standpoint, so your unposted sales, if you click on these jump links, they're just going to open up some standard SOP and RM transaction inquiry windows for you. But we included this data because as a credit manager, if you notice a number of unposted sales, so this is going to be orders that have been received but not fulfilled, services that have been requested and not delivered. As their credit manager, if you notice that there is a lot of unposted sales sitting out there, but your customer is also significantly past due, you may want to consider placing some of those unposted sales on hold until the client or customer is able to bring their account current. Kind of on the opposite end of that is your unposted cash, which is monies that have been received from the customer but not applied to any specific document as of yet. And if I'm the credit manager and trying to determine my collection activity, my next collection activity with this customer, that's certainly something that I'm going to want to take into consideration. Here's where, if the customer had a credit manager assigned to them, this is where that would be reflected. Up here on the right is your aging buckets. And as I mentioned earlier, I had my demo environment crash, so my aging isn't looking as it should, but this gives you a breakdown of the different aging buckets, and again, whatever you have set up in AR pulls in here. And what's really nice is if you wanted to do some targeted collections and maybe go after these documents that are 181 days or over, you're able to choose that date period and then pull up all of the documents that pertain to that date range. And within this window, you'll get some nice visual cues here. So the eye with the circle around it indicates that this document has a note attached to it. And then the letters here represent the action types for collection notes. So your P is going to stand for a promise to pay. And on the promise to pay, if the date falls beyond the date that the customer promised to make payment by and payment still has not been received, the P would turn to a B to represent a broken promise. A D would be a dispute, and then your S would be a special circumstance. So a lot of this is determined by your own business model, but in some cases, as could be a special circumstance, could be that this document was sent to a collections agency for further action. Again, we do provide a number of templates and action IDs out of the box for you, but please do keep it in mind that it is completely customizable and able to be built to represent your specific collection processes. So here is the total due for the customer. So if you wanted to take a look at all of their outstanding documents, again, you can click the jump link and we get the same screen with the same nice visual cues here as well. If, for instance, I wanted information as to why this document was disputed, I am able to highlight it and click on the collection note, and it'll bring up the note that is specific to that document. And one thing I do want to point out here with the notes, and we will be going through and building our own note here in just a second, but you'll see that each of the notes are date and time stamped, so you know exactly when this item became a disputed item, if you will. So here, credit limit, again, pulls in from AR. You have the salesperson assigned to the customer, and if you utilize territories, then that pulls in here as well. And if you do use national accounts, you are able to come up here and select the group option, and it will show the entire summary balances of the national account, and then also show all of the notes for the entire NA account, national account. So down here at the bottom is where our customer's history is recorded. Anytime an action is processed from a plan, you'll see that indicated by plan. It will start with plan. Any of the notes that are added by individual users normally won't start with plan. So you'll be able to differentiate between things that were automatically processed by the system and those that were entered manually. So from our collections main window, we are able to add our new notes. So let's pull one up. And as I mentioned in the last, when we pulled up the already written note, each note is date and time stamped for you. The caller ID is the name of the person actually creating the note. Here again, you can choose which address your note is pertaining to, who you spoke with, and you are able to assign a priority to the note if you need to. So your action type here, your action ID here, is basically the outcome of the note or the outcome of the phone call or interaction that you've had with the customer. As I mentioned, we do provide a number of these for you out of the box, but you are able to create your own actions. So for this one, we'll see that Bob's told us that the check is in the mail. And please do bear in mind, I forgot to mention, we are in the Fabricam data, so it looks like we're trying to collect from the future. So just be warned if it looks a little strange to you. So you notice that when I chose my check in the mail, that the action type populated to promise to pay. And as a part of building your action IDs, you are able to set the default action date to whatever fits your needs. So in this case, we have our check in the mail action ID set up to automatically populate to the follow-up date to be 3 days after the note is created. So your action date represents your follow-up date, if you will. But again, if you needed to edit this information, you're certainly able to do so. If you wanted to change it to follow up a week later, you can change it so that the note is a true representation of the situation that you've encountered with your customer. A really nice feature that I like, especially if you have multiple individuals in your company that either do your collection activities or may be responsible for the customer accounts, from an account management standpoint. You're able to assign that follow-up task to any other user within GP. So if I'm taking a call from Bob and creating this note, but the follow-up action should really be done by Kelly because it's her customer. I'm able to come in and assign that follow-up action to any other user within the system. And what that means is on the 15th, a follow-up task would populate or would pop up in the to-do list, in Kelly's to-do list rather than mine. And that way we're ensuring that the proper individuals are following up with customers and the follow-up is consistent. Here's where I am able to select the documents that this note pertains to. You can see here, very similar to the other inquiry screens that we pulled up, we've got the same cues here, visual cues, so I can see which of these documents actually have notes attached to them already. And it is important to note that a document can only be attached or attached to one note. So since this document is already attached to a note, if I selected it, the system's going to ask, or it's going to let me know that it's already assigned to a document or a note, and ask me if I want to move the document to this new note. So in most cases, I suggest that you say no, you don't want to move it, and if you have some new information to add to this particular document or the situation, then you can pull up its notes. Let's discard that. You can pull up the note that pertains to that document and actually revise it. You can add on to it, and the system will track the revisions for you. So if we made a change to this, let's see, confirmed ACH sent yesterday. And if I save that, the next time we can come in and take a look at that note, you'll see that the revisions here have gone to 2. And if I hit my jump link, then I'm able to come here and flip through both of the versions of the note and get the specifics on those. Rather than, that's rather than switching the note around time and time again to a different document or to a different note. So here I want to scroll down and find one of these documents not attached. There we go. We'll try this one and this one. So we're going to attach these 2 documents to the note. So I check the box and hit select, and where'd my note go? My note went away. And it's not, is it this one? 1, 2. Okay, well, I'll start that over again. I don't know where in the process I lost my note. So again, we're going to go check in the mail, select, take our documents. Hopefully we can find another couple that aren't already attached. Oh. Not that one, not that one. Try this one. No. All right. Well, we're just going to move it over anywho. And this one. Okay, so I hit my save, and then you'll notice that a couple of things happened here on my note, and I do apologize for that. Like I said, my demo environment's been a little wonky here in the last couple of days. Once I selected the documents, you'll see that the action amount automatically populated to the total of the documents that I selected. Now, that amount is able to be changed, so if the customer is only able to make a partial payment, you can change that so it's, again, it's a true reflection of the situation with the customer. The status of this note is obviously open. Once payment has been applied and the promise to pay has been satisfied, then it will switch to completed. And this here again is where the revisions are tracked. When I selected the documents, along with the action amounts populating to the totals of the invoices, it also populated some of the details from the documents here in the open text field. I'm able to come in and add whatever note that I would like. 5 cents payment yesterday. And then once I save my note, then a record of that note is right here at the bottom of their history. And again, if I needed to come in and make a change, I can do so. So from the main window, as I said, this is where a lot of folks spend time because it is so easy to get to other aspects of collections management from this window. This is where you can access and build queries. We do have this, the setup of the queries can be extremely easy, but they can, you can get your queries to be as detailed and I don't want to say convoluted, but complex. That's a good word. As complex as you need them to be. And there's a number of different areas that you can build your queries off of, as you can see here. And once you save your query, I'll show you here in several different windows where those queries can come into play throughout the collections management tool. Here is the task list that I mentioned, or your to-do list, your task window. I need to change this to 30 days here. And this is going to pull open or pull up all of the activities that I have due that, as I mentioned earlier, essentially cannot be automated by the system. So phone calls, follow-ups with customers, once you really start relying on your collection plans, that's what you'll find on your to-do list. Important addition to the product in one of our most recent releases is this Mark Paid button. So this allows you to take any of the promised payments off of your task list if the amount on the invoice or invoices associated with the note has been fully applied or at least paid up to the amount that was promised. That way you're not making collection calls for monies that you've already received. So I'm able to also pull up the task list for any other users within GP or collectors that I have set up in GP. So again, if I've got multiple individuals doing collection activities for me, and if someone is out for the day, I can come in and pull up their task list and determine whether or not those activities should be assigned and performed by someone else within the team, or if they can wait for that individual to return to work. And this, again, is just in an effort to get that consistent follow-up with customers going and ensure that nothing falls through the cracks. You're able to slice and dice data on based on specific date ranges, action IDs. From a management perspective, if I wanted to come in and pull up a list of activities completed by specific collectors, I'm able to do so. And that can, again, be filtered down into specific date range and by action types. If I'm preparing to make my phone call for Aaron Spitz Electrical here, and I wanted a little more detail as to why I'm calling, if I select the customer or the record here, I hit the note or description, it'll pop up the note that pertains to that document so I can get a better idea of the situation with the customer. I can then also, if I want even more detail, pull up the customer's main window and get the specific contact details and aging details for the customers as well. Once I complete my activity, I simply mark it as completed, and it is removed from my list, and then a record of that completion will be added to the customer's history log. So, oops, wrong button there. So back to our main window. The email. So again, I had mentioned that you're able to pop open an email screen as you're on the phone with customers, which is really nice. And this is one of the new additions to the product as well. When you pop open an email from the main window, the contact information for the customer will populate for you, and this is pulled in based on what you have set up on the internet information portion of the customer's card, on the customer card. Here is where I'm able to select a letter ID or the message template that I want to send to the customer. And as I mentioned, we do provide a number of these for you out of the box. You're able to come in and plagiarize the ones that we provide if you like by adding your own logo or maybe just tweaking some of the verbiage so it's a better fit for you. Or you can start from scratch and build your own letters as well. So if I wanted to send a coming soon email to them, I can select that template, and you can see that the subject line populates for me as well as the body of the invoice. And along with the improved email capabilities is the ability to have kind of like mail merge functions added into the body of the email. So the little @ with the percentage sign indicates that once that is specific data specific to this customer that's going to be pulled into this template. So in this case, we are looking to send the customer invoices that are going to be due soon. So once I selected that option, the system went ahead and came down to their open documents and pre-selected those documents for me. If I wanted to add any additional documents in to be sent, I can certainly do so. But once I'm satisfied with the documents that have been selected, I hit my redisplay here, and you'll see that the details from some of those invoices selected has populated here in the body. And then what has also happened is PDF copies of these invoices have been attached to the email. Now, if there were documents that reside outside of GP, so let's say a credit card form, for instance, that I want to send, or a receivable statement that I want to send along, it may be really hard to see, and for that I do apologize, but in the lower right-hand corner, hopefully you can see that attachments button, and that is what you would utilize to send along any documents that, again, reside outside of GP. So once I hit my send button, then a record of this email, again, will be logged on the customer's history in their main window. I'm not hitting send because I'm not connected to my Exchange server through the demo environment. So from the main window aspect, that's the nuts and bolts, if you will. Now I want to jump over and actually take a look at what the plan setup looks like. So we do have a few of the collection plans that we build for you and send with the package. Here you'll see a description of your collection plan. You're able to designate what happens once the customer, or the document rather, reaches the final step in the plan or the end of the plan. You can tell the system to keep repeating the suggestion or the activity to be processed as it's the last step. So, for instance, if your final step is to send a reminder email to the customer that they're a past due reminder, then that's something that obviously you can still have done, or you would still want to do until the document has been satisfied. Or if you say the final step is to send them to a collection agency, well, in that case, you only send a document one time to the collection agency, so you would have the system stop suggesting that activity. So you're also able to designate a minimum amount that the customer must be past due in order for a collection plan to actually kick off. And we kind of set this as a fail-safe for you. For instance, if you have a multi-million-dollar customer that you do business with, and maybe they've mispaid an invoice by $7.22, in most cases that isn't an amount worthy of sending them through a collection process. So you're able to say that, okay, this customer the customers in this group have to be at least $20 past due before a collection plan will kick in. So here on the left is the number of days that the customer's oldest outstanding invoice must be past due in order for this task to be suggested to take place. So 7 days before the documents actually become due for customers on this plan, you're going to send out, or an activity will be suggested to send out a soon due email template. Once document has gone 5 days past due, a reminder email will be suggested to be sent. And then 14 days past due, then a call task will pop up in the credit manager's to-do list. And then so on and so forth until they reach the end of the plan. So it's pretty straightforward, and again, you're able to come in and tweak what we provide for you or build the plans from scratch for yourself. So the plan processing window, this is, again, your queue, the place where you will come to see all of the activities that are due for every customer that you have that is on a plan. And you are able to process these all at one time, or if you have any one-off situations with maybe this customer, you just spoke with them yesterday and you wanted to make a quick note of that. Come on, let's work here. In their email message before sending it, you're able to come in and there we go, and select the customer. And then down here at the bottom are the details of the action that is being suggested to take place and what will actually go out to the customer once you process it. If I wanted to add a message, I know we spoke yesterday, or whatever the case may be, I'm then able to just process this customer. If I scroll through my list here, and I am satisfied with all of these activities taking place, then I'm able to process all customers. So I hit my Process All Customers button, and this window will pop up here for you and give you a breakdown of exactly how many emails are going to be sent. It's also going to call attention to any emails that, or anybody that the system is anybody who is due to receive an email, but the system is not finding an email address for. And at this point, you can choose to tell collections to just email what you can and forget about those that you don't have an email address for. Or you can tell it to email what you can and then print what you cannot. I'll get to that question in just 1 second, but the answer is no. It is not required to have a PDF writer license for collections management. If you choose to have the system email what it can and then print what it doesn't, this will then send those documents that were scheduled to go to be emailed to customers without email addresses, send them directly to a printer. That way, if you have a customer that, let's say, you correspond with via fax or U.S. or postal service, then you have the hard copies of those documents to send out to those customers and as needed. Once I hit OK, it will start doing its thing. I can go get my morning cup of coffee and come back, and in some cases, hundreds of emails will have been sent out. Now, while we're waiting for that to process, let's take a look here. I did answer that question about the full version of the Adobe PDF Writer licenses are not required for collections management. As I mentioned earlier, you are able to use the Word documents and attach those now rather than PDF versions as was in the previous versions of collections. So here we are going to get a destination or a report of what has actually taken place. If I wanted to get details of the emails that have been sent out, In this case, I just want to get a little overview of what took place. So 90 new notes were created. So for each of those activities that I just processed, the system automatically updates the customer's record with those details, so that I don't have to go in and say, okay, collection note sent, or collection email sent, or reminder email sent. The system automatically does it for you. Again, really trying to automate a lot of those mundane manual tasks that go along with trying to collect your money. And then one email was submitted, meaning that it was sent to the printer for us. So we hit OK, and then that's our planned processing. I do see a question that's popped up here. When attaching an invoice, does this work for both report writer invoices and Word templates? Yes, it does. To answer that question, we've made the Word templates available because we've heard that not a whole lot of folks are big fans of report writers. So Word templates can also be used. That's pretty much, the core functions of collections. A couple of the bells and whistles I do like to show as well, as you're trying to really grab hold of your collection activities and getting caught up and making sure that all of your overdue or past due documents have been contacted and reached out to. This is a great place to get a summary of really what's going on with your overdue documents. This can be filtered by queries that you saved. Remember, I told you earlier, there's a number of different areas that you can pull in any of your saved queries, which this is one. But what I like to do is just leave this blank and calculate it for all of the documents within the system. So up here is just your standard receivable summary info. Here in the middle is what's important from a collections standpoint. This lets you know and gives you a breakdown of all of the different types of notes that you have associated with your outstanding invoices. So I can see here that I have 5 documents that I've been promised to pay. And if I wanted the details on those documents, I can hit my jump link there and it'll take me straight to details on it. And if I wanted to drill down even further and get the full details of the note, I'm able to get to that as well. Most importantly in my mind, though, is this overdue docs, not on a note. So what this says to me is that I've got almost $2 million in outstanding invoices out there, and I've got no idea why. It would say to me that nobody's reached out and contacted these customers to find out where our monies are. So this would be a great place to start in terms of targeting groups of overdue customers. And from here, you are able to assign it to a credit manager or a collector ID within the system. If you're scrolling through here and you happen to notice, oh gosh, I did talk to them yesterday and forgot to add a note, you can certainly add a new note from here as well. And then finally, our day sales outstanding calculator. For those in the world of finance, this seems to be an increasing area of concern or a metric that more and more organizations are keeping an eye on these days. So we've added this nice little calculator that allows you to specify a date range that you want to calculate your day sales outstanding for. Once I hit calculate, it'll pull in the sales amount for that time period, average sales per day, how much of that is still outstanding, and that brings us to our DSO, which in this case, I probably wouldn't have a job if I was the CFO or what have you for this organization with a 222 days sales outstanding. You know, for your typical net 30 terms, we've heard organizations which would really love to see a 35-day DSO, 40 days, 45 days acceptable in some cases. And what's nice is I'm able to add this to my log here so that I can really track my DSO and make sure that it's trending in the right direction. And if after, a number of months or quarters, however you guys want to kind of revisit things, however often you want to revisit things. If I'm not seeing the movement that I'd like to see, then I might want to consider revamping or revising some of my collection activities in order to see that my DSO move in the direction I'd like. So that is collections management in a nutshell, folks. Again, I really do appreciate your time, and Kelly and crew and Morgan and everyone, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, and we can open it up for any questions now.
Great. So I will unmute everyone, and if you have a question, feel free to ask now. Are there customers on the call that are currently using collections management and are using this as kind of a training session?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm using it for myself. This is Kevin here.
Okay.
Kind of been using it for about 6 months, so this definitely helped me get some better insight, especially on notes and selecting certain invoices on action IDs and stuff.
And what version are you on? What version of GP, Kevin?
I believe it is 2010. I can check real quick.
Okay.
But yeah, I was kind of just thrown into training, so this is definitely a big help.
Yes, Melody, you've done a wonderful job with the demo.
Oh, well, thanks so much. And if any follow-up questions come up from anyone, please certainly let me know. And hopefully I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation that we build this solution and develop it and enhance it based on feedback from our partners and customers. So any of you users that are on the line, if you have any suggestions about what you'd like it to do that's not doing today, or any areas of improvement, please feel free to share that with your team over at Tidestone so they can get that over to us. We're trying to release cycle of every 3 months. Our next version is slated to release it early July. Now that we've really kind of enhanced functions, we're focusing more on the reporting and the BI specifics. So look forward to some collector performance and analytics to come out in this next version. But again, any feedback or suggestions are welcome.
Great. Okay, so I'm just going to take back over since we don't have any questions, and I just want to thank everyone for attending the webinar. We will have this up on our website. If you have other employees who would like to use this webinar as either a get-to-know collections management or a refresher, you're welcome to it. There's no charge. It's available for anyone. And if you are interested in acquiring collections management, just contact us at Tidestone Solutions, and we will work with Professional Advantage to get that taken care of for you. So at this point, I guess since there aren't any questions, we're going to close the webinar. And again, thank you very much for your participation, and let me know if you have any questions. We will be sending out a brief survey to see if you have any follow-up suggestions. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.